What's up, beautiful people? It is your girl, Kendra. Welcome to the ever first edition on video, Kweenly Critiques. So, basically, what I do is I critique some of my favorite movies, some of my favorite series for you all, so we can all have a discussion on what's going on in our time and in our era. And we're just going to have a lot of fun with it. And you know, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of my Kendra magic on these critiques. So I'm so excited to be doing this for you all. So let's go ahead and hop right in. We are going to be covering the series Genius MLK slash X. Or you could just call it MLK and X. That's basically what I'm probably going to end up calling it. So let me tell y'all about this series. This series is basically an intimate look into Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and Malcolm X's life, along with their wives, Coretta Scott King and Betty Shabazz. And they are played, Kelvin Harrison plays Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Pierre, he plays Malcolm X, Jayme Lawson plays Betty Shabazz, and I believe you pronounce her name Weruche. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Opia. She plays Coretta Scott King. I have watched one episode already, and when I tell y'all I am instantly hooked, I am hooked. I'm hooked, y'all. So, let's get into the critique. First off, what a great way to start Black History Month, to talk about these two men, because they are literally iconic leaders for the civil rights struggle. If y'all don't know who Dr. King is or Malcolm X is, I know that you have heard him in passing or heard either of them in passing. They are both very important people and very vital. And you know, it's so funny because I heard someone or saw a comment that basically people were saying, oh my God, I don't want another race movie. Oh, there's another movie about Dr. King. Oh, there's another movie about Malcolm X. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell y'all something. Some of y'all don't have a problem with having extra Supermans, extra Spider-Mans, and Captain America, Doctor Strange, all of these heroes. Y'all don't mind having many videos about them, but when it comes down to Black heroes, y'all have a problem. And, you know, I guess, you know, no one wants to see trauma. No one wants to see struggle. We want to see Black people actually going forward and doing things. But I want you guys to understand there is nothing wrong with having more stories about people that you think that you actually know. So I think that this is actually a beautiful thing to do, because number one, Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, both of them are looked upon as they are against each other, or people try to say, let's take the Martin way or let's take the Malcolm way, versus basically saying the violent or the non-violent way. But if you really study these men's lives, they are literally, as I said in my TikTok video, they are literally two sides of the same coin. Both of them were warriors. It's just that their strategies were different. So I'm happy that this series is basically reflecting each of their lives. I think that this is a wise thing to do, so people can actually celebrate Malcolm X instead of condemning him. Period. Talk about Kelvin Harrison real quick. Listen, Teddy Green done came back, honey. He done came back from the grave to become a civil rights leader, honey. I said, what? Look at Teddy Green, honey. Look at Teddy Green. But all jokes aside, if you've seen Godfather of Harlem, he was in Godfather of Harlem. He's an amazing actor. And he has done other things besides Godfather in Harlem. He's an amazing actor. He is just a very, very... one thing I could say about him is that when he's on screen, you're automatically captured, okay? You really are. But, anywho, he is doing an amazing job. When I tell you this man has captured the cadence of Dr. King's voice, like, literally, he captured his cadence and how Dr. King carried himself. I said, see, that's what actors are supposed to do. You're supposed to make me believe that you're actually the person that you're playing, especially if you're doing, like, a biopic or Lord have mercy, what is wrong with me? A documentary series. Like, I really need to see that you captured this person's essence and you literally make me believe that they and you are that person. Okay? So he's doing a good job. Aaron. Now, Aaron ain't usually my type of guy. Now, if you guys know me, y'all know I'm a Winston Duke type of lover. I'm someone who likes some berry, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. usually kind of stocky. I like them a little chunky. You know, that's what I prefer. But Aaron has made me kind of look at him like, in the series a few times. I said, Aaron kind of fine. You know, Aaron is a very handsome man. You know, but I'm not gonna hold y'all. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. I was judging him. I did. And the reason why I judged why they chose him was because I'm sitting here saying to myself, the two best performances, in my opinion, on Malcolm X is Nigel Thatch from Godfather of Harlem and Denzel Washington from Malcolm X, the movie. But he is holding a light to be like, listen, y'all, I'm Malcolm X. Y'all gonna know I'm Malcolm X. Like, I'm Malcolm X. I am Malcolm X. I'm Malcolm. Like, literally, that's literally what I feel. And it's like how the way he smiles, how the way he cocks his head, how the way he smirks. I was like, oh, okay, you about to body this role. You about to body it, sir. I said, I ain't even gonna judge you no more. Just proceed. Let's talk about this chemistry, though. The chemistry between Dr. King and Coretta already. When you look at their pictures, you can tell there is a sort of chemistry that Dr. King and Coretta had. It was such a beautiful, just those beautiful moments when they were captured on camera, and how she would look at him and how he would look at her. I was just like, oh, this is just so beautiful. But Kelvin and my girl, let me tell you something. When I tell you the chemistry between them just makes my heart flutter, I said, ooh, it just makes my heart flutter and make me melt like butter. I was like, give me this type of love. What in the world? I said, this chemistry. I said, I am here for this. And it was just so spicy and just so undeniable, honey. I just loved it. How his eyes admire her and how he used this little pickup line that he has used on other women before in the series. Yes, I'm giving a little spoiler. So if you haven't seen this, watch. I'm going to say this. Watch the series before you watch my video. Because honestly, I'm going to kind of put some spoilers in here. But yeah, when he did that little one line, Coretta was like, I ain't impressed, dog. I mean, well, she ain't say that. But that's literally how I felt like she was. She was like, I'm not impressed by you using this line on me. She said, who wants to use this line? And he was just like, well, shoot. He was like, look, he said, at this moment right now, I wanted to work now. I was laughing so hard. But yes, their chemistry was a chef's kiss. And I just loved it. I loved it. So I love the fact that they are humanizing them. Because we see these figures and we keep forgetting that they're human. And I think sometimes, even when it comes down to celebrities, when it comes down to people who are in power, we forget that they are human beings and they experience complex emotions. So I'm happy that they're putting a lot of humanness behind the series, and we can really see an intimate depth between Malcolm X and Dr. King. Like, I was like, yeah, we need this. We need to see the human side of these icons. We need to. So I'm going to mention their childhoods because episode 1 talks about their childhood. So their childhoods and their fathers literally reflected one another, right? And if you are a person that studies Black history like I do, literally both of their fathers were men of the cloth or preachers of the gospel, if as you may say. Both of them were. And still, even with that, both of their strategies and Black liberation were different, but it was beneficial to the Black race. So, Dr. King was just kind of like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to stay in America and you going to treat me right. But, Earl Little was like, nah, we ain't got to deal with this. We go back to Africa. Africa for the Africans, baby. Let's go on back. And I was like, I'm kind of down for either cause. I'm like, shoot. I'm like, Earl Little was making sense. Dr. King was making sense. But, it was just amazing. But both of the men who played their fathers, I do not have their names down. I am literally looking at my notes right now. I do not have their names down. I don't even think they have like the full cast list yet. But the men who are playing their fathers are absolutely amazing, and they did amazing. I loved that we saw the importance of Black fathers and sons and how it really plays a vital role in their upbringing. And I also loved seeing their mothers, because just as important as Black fathers are, Black mothers and Black sons are just as important. And I love that they're putting the humanity with their parents too. You know, but I will say this. I don't appreciate Earl Little pushing down Louise, though. Like, I was like, yeah, I forgot that in the autobiography of Malcolm X that his father actually did used to beat on his mom. So, I mean, I guess they kind of glide upon that. But I was like, I don't appreciate you pushing her. Like, sir, relax. I'll hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. So, when I saw the little boy that was playing Malcolm X, I said to myself, who's this little white boy? I was like, who's this little white boy? I was like, who's this? I said, why they got this little white boy playing him? But then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I say in his autobiography, Malcolm X did say that he was the fairest skinned of his siblings. So I was just like, well, you know, I guess just just let him be then. But I mean, he did a good job. But in my mind, I was like, he looked white. I was like, let me not judge too hard. I said, but this little boy look white. I said, he don't look black. I said, he look like literally like I just stuck a little white boy and was just like, yeah, you're gonna be Malcolm X. At first, that's what I was thinking, but I was like, you know what? No, let me not judge. Let me just go ahead and get this, get this done or over with or whatever. But the little boy who played Martin only had a few lines. He was a cute little boy. But if y'all do not know, fun fact, Martin Luther King's real name is Michael, okay? But Dr. King's father was like, not on my watch. We're changing our name. So basically, Dr. King's dad and, and him, they basically changed their name. So, not him personally changing his name. Like, his name was forced upon him because his dad wanted his name to be Martin Luther. So, but changing our names is something that's very symbolic in the Black community. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we forget our past. It just means that we're trying to reflect our future. You dig? There is an elephant in the room. The elephant of how trauma is dealt with in our community can be so dismissive. Unfortunately, we just love to sweep things under the rug and move on, and that is what is going on with Black people right now in 2024. I am telling you. Let me tell you something. Watching this series and looking at Malcolm as a child, I would say to myself, listen, Malcolm literally lost his home, his father, and his way of life within a matter of days. Then, as he got older, his mother got sent to a mental institution because she just couldn't deal with it anymore. She checked out of life. And when you deal with that much trauma, sometimes you can't deal with life anymore. And that's just a lot to handle. So my heart actually broke for him. And I'm like, then on top of that, you got your teacher who tells you in your face after you literally are elected class president that you couldn't be a lawyer because that's not obtainable for a Negro, okay, or for a Black person. Well, he actually said the other word, but just to not let my video be taken down, I'm going to just say, a Black man. But he said the other word, so you know what he said. And basically, that's just a lot for someone to take. But no wonder why Malcolm went down a downward spiral. And he turned into drugs. He turned to hustling. He turned into alcohol and all those things. Like, you got to learn how to cope. Because like I said, in our community, when it comes down to trauma, we just sweep it under the rug and we just got to push through. And sometimes that's the most unhealthiest thing for us to do as a community. Trauma was very, very sad too. As someone who is grieving the loss of, my mom, I can understand why he took the loss of his grandmama so hard. I wish that they would have shown a more bonding moment between Dr. King, ML at the time when he was younger. I wish they would have shown more of a bonding moment between his grandmother and him. Like maybe of them hugging or him or her saying, all right, Martin, now you go over there and you sit down there. Grandma loves you. Like, I just wish they would have kind of snuck that in there in a way. His grandmother actually was played by Suge Avery, or if y'all know who Suge Avery is, not Taraji, but the old Color Purple, the 1985 Color Purple. Her name is Margaret Avery. She was in there for a couple of seconds. She did a little yang yang yang, and then next you know she died. And I was just like, man, that was really short. I was like, she could have been on there a little longer, but okay. Yeah, but if you don't know, Martin did indeed try to commit suicide. He did. Like, he literally jumped from his window when he was younger. and hurt himself. But one thing I did not like is that his parents dismissed the doctor's discretion about letting him go see a psychiatrist or a therapist. They was just like, our son doesn't need therapy or psychiatry. He's strong. He don't have to deal with anything. I was like, what? This boy just trying to kill himself. You telling me he don't? Well, what in the world? I'm like, he tried to not pew, but he just tried to harm himself. And you're telling me, oh, he's strong, he'll be all right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. That was a lie. I was like, no, I don't like it. I was like, but I know back then mental health wasn't normalized. You know, it's just kind of like, oh, you just deal with it and move on. Also, sorry y'all, I'm just trying to, fix myself. How they did the scene between Martin graduating and Malcolm getting out of prison was very beautiful to see. It was like they were both reforming themselves and being prepared to take on the world and take on a greater cause. And then the smiles on both of their faces just made me smile and very emotional. I was like, oh my God, I said, why am I about to cry? I was like, oh, this is just so beautiful. I'm just really excited. I'm really excited. But I think this series is going to be a hit. I think it's going to be amazing. I feel it. I cannot wait for more episodes to review for you all. This has been your Kweenly Critique, and I am out. Smooches and sparkles. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.